Well, remember several years ago I told you I was going to show you all my failures. Well, and I've shown you several over the years. This might be one of my worst failures of all. Well, first of all, it's 90 degrees outside. Wonderful. It is about 3 in the afternoon, and I'm fixing to be picking corn. But not just picking corn. I need to pull it up and get the plot ready for planting some peas. I'm going to plant zipper cream peas and probably purple hull. So 90 degrees, no wind stirring, picking corn, pulling up corn stalks. So why am I considering this a failure? Well, mainly because it is. I'm getting a few decent ears, but nothing like I should have gotten out of that patch. I should have gotten 150 ears out of it, and most of it is not filled out well. It's worm eaten. The reason it's worm eaten is because when I saw the pollination was bad and the stand was bad, I just kind of got disheartened and I just didn't spray it. Now you can always cut those earworms off, cut the damage off, but I didn't come out here and spray it, and that's why it's got earworms in it. And I didn't spray it because I knew it wasn't going to be any good. It wasn't going to be hardly any good corn. Now, why is it not good corn? What did I do wrong? Well, first of all, I went in there and planted sparsely. I planted by hand, 1 seed per hole, about every 8 inches. Instead of running my seeder through there. Well, the seeder I use, a little garden way I think it's called, it's got a corn plate, but it plants real close together. And I mean within a foot area, I might have 4 or 5 seeds. It's just real, because the seeds on sweet corn are so small, it just plants a bunch of them. It picks up too many as it's going around. So I wanted to be chinchy. I wanted to be clever, I thought, because seeds are so expensive, and I wanted to plant by hand. So that was my first problem. I planted by hand. I planted 1 seed per hole instead of 2, and I almost always do 2 because you just never know, and I didn't do that, did 1. I planted too early probably. The ground temperature was 65 to 68, which corn will germinate, but some of them aren't going to. Some will, some won't. So I didn't have a great germination percentage on the corn. This is ambrosia, by the way. And then when I saw I didn't have good germination, I went back and replanted the bare spots. Well, the bare spots never, then we had a little cold spell, and the bare spots are just never are going to catch up with the ones you plant 2 weeks later, just never going to catch up with the other ones. Or they didn't anyway, let's put it that way. I don't know about never, but they did not this time. And so I just, looking at it, I knew it was a bad, I knew it was a bad crop. I knew it was a bad year for me, not a bad year for corn. My neighbor grew some ambrosia about that long, and I mean, it's beautiful, about 200 ears. So it's my bad for planting too early. He planted about 2 weeks after I did, maybe 3. So planted too early, planted too sparsely. I fertilized the dog out of it. I put some 20-20-20, I think twice through the drip irrigation. I put triple 13 down on it at least once, if not twice, and I believe it was twice. So it's plenty fertilized, but the pollination problem comes from the corn that came up. It was so sparse that it didn't pollinate itself. Corn is wind pollinated. The tassels produce pollen, male, and fall down on the silks, and each one of those silks has to be pollinated. Each one of those silks, as I understand it, each one of those silks is attached to a kernel on that corn, and if it's not pollinated, you don't get a kernel there. So if you find corn that's pretty sparse, the kernels are pretty sparse on it, it didn't get pollinated well. So And this is no exception. The first several that I peeled off just didn't have, I mean, they were just an ear that long, and I didn't have corn but maybe about the last half. So I had some real issues with pollination. And these that I'm peeling off right now, they look pretty decent with the exception of the earworms. Some of them look pretty good. So pollination was a problem because I planted too sparsely, because I planted too early. And the earworms are a problem because I just thought I wasn't going to get anything, so I just said, just forget it. I'm just not going to spray. But I am getting some. I'll show you what I have at the end of this. Now, what am I going to do there? It's middle of June. I need to till it and get ready to plant some peas there. But before I till it, I got to pull up the drip line. I mow it, till it, and then it's not too hot. Peas love heat. You got to water them, but they love heat. So I should get a good stand of peas, even planting them this time of year. I thought about replanting corn, but my remedy for this is something you're going to laugh at me for, and that's okay. You just go ahead and laugh. When I went out there and looked and I saw that my corn was going to be junk, I got a circular in the mail that said that a store near me, a franchise near me, was having corn on sale for $4 for $1. Sweet corn, 4 ears for $1. That's 25 cents an ear, and I'm not sure I can even grow it for that. Now, this ambrosia is sweeter. It's not, it's sweet corn. It's good corn. We've already eaten some of it. I want to make sure it was good before I went and bought a bunch of it. But I went and bought 64 ears of corn. Cost me whatever 64 divided by 4 is. Anyway, I guess that would be $15, $16. I don't know. But I went to public school, so somebody else do the math for me. So I've got corn for next year. But it's not necessarily corn I grew, with the exception of what I'm getting now. And I wouldn't have bought all that corn had I known I was going to get, I'd have bought some of it. I wouldn't have bought 64 ears. I really didn't think I was going to get anything. I suspected that I was not even going to get an ear or 2 or 5 or whatever. Really did. So I'll peel the rest of this, shuck the rest of this, and I'll let you know how many ears or partial ears I get or whatever. But anyway, we're finished with the corn. I'll show you what I got left, and then we're gonna go on and plant some peas in the Texas heat. That gum is hot. It's 90 degrees. Actually, it's 93 right now. Just wanted to show you that anybody can have failures. Don't beat yourself up about it. If you can, just go to the store and buy whatever you fail at, right? If you can. All right, that's it. We're gone.